You know how you find your favorite nail color, but it doesn't come in gel? So for years, nail technicians have been doing this technique and we love it. You put your nail polish on and then you put a gel layer on top and then cure it. And it gives the wear like a gel, but you still have the color of the nail polish that you wanted. It's a great technique. I've been doing it for years. But sometimes people will ask me a question, how do you do that, which I'm going to show you. But also the new question coming up is, do you need to have a rubber base or a base coat before you put on the nail polish? And the answer is, quite frankly, no. If you're putting it on natural nails, you do not need to have the gel or rubber base coat first. And the reason being is because the rubber base coat is a gel product. Now, you could do it and then remove that sticky layer, and then you can put your nail polish on. But nail polish doesn't like to go on a buffed or a rough surface at all. So it's got to be smooth. So if you're going to do it, make sure it's very, very, very smooth. But you don't need it. The reason being is because nail polish doesn't really want to stick to the gel like that rubber base with a sticky. And then the nail polish is sandwiched in between the two gels. And then they're just kind of floating. So I wouldn't advise it. You don't need it. Just put the nail polish directly onto the natural nail and then another coat of your nail polish color. Let it dry, and then you can top coat. And let me show you what I mean. There's quite a technique in doing it, and if you don't do it right, it's horrible results. But the bad thing about it is you don't know about the bad results until after the customer goes home. And that sounds weird. Bear with me and I'll explain it. So I've got a couple of nails here, and I'm going to use these as natural nails. I'm getting ready to do some other videos, but I just wanted to take a moment and show you why this matters. This is half natural, and there's acrylic about here, upward. This is all natural in here, and then acrylic here. But it's very, very thin, so I can still do this demonstration. So you got your favorite color, and you want to put the nail color on and turn it into acting like a gel. So we put that top layer of gel that's going to give us that extra protection. So this is what we want to do. So we're going to put our nail polish directly onto the fingernail. Such a gorgeous color. Now there's a lot of gel polishes out there, and I'm sure you could find something pretty similar, but you may not have it. You don't want to wait time to order it because you need it now. So we're going to put the first coat of nail polish on there. And then I'm going to put my second coat. This is very fast drying. Now, remember, I'm exaggerating this. This is going to be doing it wrong, and this is what happens. And it's innocent, right? You let it dry between coats, and then you put your gel top coat on, and wait till you see what happens. This is no fault of the gel top coat, no matter what brand you're using. This will happen with any gel top coat. So I'm going to put my gel top coat on. Okay, and now I'm going to give her a nuke. Okay, so I've just given it a full cure. Now, I'm not a master at doing things totally wrong, so I can't get it perfect, but usually it doesn't wrinkle this much. And the problem I'm trying to tell you about is, get a look at that, right? Can you see the gel polish is just not happy? It's kind of wrinkling in between. So this is wrinkled because the nail polish is too wet. The nail polish has to be basically like 98% dry before you put the gel top coat on. The problem is this, and this has happened to me. Everything I tell you is all from experience. So this has happened to me like 20 years ago when this stuff came in and we started playing around, started doing it. You would put the nail polish on. They would be, you thought, dry. Looked good. Put the gel top coat on, and off it went. When we were experimenting, we didn't know the rules. There was no YouTube to tell us. So we were just learning as we go. We put the nail polish on, put the gel top coat on. They would cure it in the lab for the full cure. And then a day or two later, they would come back, or they'd phone and say, it's all wrinkled. And you're like, what? I saw it when you left, and it was completely beautiful. But had I not had the experience myself, you might even think a client is lying. That's why I'd like to test it out and never accuse a client of lying. But I did it myself, and then I started to learn, okay, if the nail polish is not dry, the gel coat on top, after the curing process, it takes a little time, but it will wrinkle. And this, I exaggerated, like I said. I exaggerated the two coats. I made sure none was drying in between. And by the time I put the gel, I didn't even get it out of the machine before it starts to wrinkle. So if it's wrinkling later, that's what your customer is not lying to you. It's actually wrinkling later. So let me show you what we want to do. We want to put a thin, normal layer of nail polish on. Okay, so I put that layer on nice and thin. Normally I'd go ahead and do all the other 10. This one dries super fast. This is Holo chocolate, not a sponsored video. It just happens to be one of my favorite brands. And if this is happening, like the first finger, it's not the polish's fault. It's not the gel top coat's fault. It's the fact of the technique. It's almost never a product issue. It's almost always a technique issue. So by the time I polish them all, this will be dry when I come back. So then I can put another coat on. Now this is going to be the wrinkling factor if we're a little too impatient. And when you're waiting, it seems longer, but if it was gel polish, you still have to wait for it to go in there. But again, this is our favorite color, right? We can't get it in a gel. Okay, so I feel like that's pretty good and dry. Okay, so I'm going to put a second coat of the nail polish. What a gorgeous color. For anyone who may be interested, I'm just going to tell you the color. Sour Note. That's right. I think that's in her newest collection, actually. Okay, that's a little side note. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and dry. And clients, you know, sometimes will do this. But that's only because we're being impatient. If I was polishing all the other ones and doing a really good job, by the time I got around to this, this would be dry. So I'm just going to put a nice layer of the gel top coat. This is the gel that I'm using to protect that color, to give it sort of a gel wear. Put that on nice and evenly. Now this is the scary part. If it's gonna wrinkle, this is what makes it wrinkle. And it can do it right away, as you saw, or a couple of days later. Okay, so that's a full cure. Like I say, that's the scary point. Sometimes it can wrinkle in there, and that's how I learned. Give it time to dry. So we got the wrinkle that both of those nail polish coats were not dry. And then we've got 2 coats of nail polish, but the gel top coat did not wrinkle at all because the nail polish was dry. So there's a good little experiment. Just a little patience. Making sure that your nail polish is dry, your nail polish can work with a little coat of gel polish on top to preserve that color. Look at that, it worked out great. Okay, thanks for joining me in this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.